Hello and welcome back to Tools for Sparks, where I'm very excited to share with you my new multifunction tester. The Megger MFT1741 Plus. And with it I have the Megger EV adapter. So I'm going to show you all the features and all the delights very, very soon. But first, hit a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and let's get into it. So first, the Megger 1741 Plus tester comes with its soft case, which to be honest is not the most brilliant of cases. I do prefer the Fluke case, but I'm just going to empty it out and show you exactly what's in there, what it comes with. Probably got a few extra items in there that it didn't actually come with, but you've got these kind of velcro-y bits that go onto it, but I don't really know what the purpose is of those. And then that's it really. It's kind of, the actual bag itself, to be honest, is pretty naff, so I think I'm going to be replacing that fairly soon with a decent tester bag. But it comes with all these goodies. So in this little box you've got a plug. So that is presumably to charge it up, which is quite nice if you've got rechargeable batteries. So that clicks on. Then you've got a annoying little thing to unwind, and then all these are obviously for the bin. Unfortunately, this annoys me slightly with companies that do this. Like, I understand that they're selling a product to lots of different markets, so they have to give all the different options, but if you're selling it to the UK, can't you just supply it with a UK plug, and then you're wasting all this single-use plastic? Avoid wasting single-use plastics, people. But that's just my little bugbear there. So that's our power cable to kind of charge the thing up. Then we've got all these different leads and crock clips and stuff like that. So we've got the plug-in tester lead here with these. Comes with this little plug protector, which I've obviously removed. Then we've got this probe lead, which has a button on it, which is quite nice, so you can press to test, and that little piece there which plugs into the front of the tester. I'll show you that in a minute. And then you've got these three separate leads, line, neutral and CPC. And interestingly, they come like that, and then you can clip various things onto the ends. So in this little packet we have the test probes. I've kind of mixed and matched because I have been using this tester for a little while already. So you've got test probes, and you've got crocodile clips. And there's a very special test probe in this one, which I really like, because it's one of those to reach in really deep, difficult holes. So you've got that little spiky end there, and you can just reach in and reach difficult places. And obviously it's completely GS38 approved and everything. But for normal day-to-day use, just pop your green one on there, your red one on there, your blue one on there. They do come with these little things to go over the probes, but inevitably you take them off and then you end up losing them, so I kind of think they're slightly pointless. They're nice and sharp probes, and you know, they're not very long, so you're safe when you're doing your testing, so that's nice. And then obviously you can swap those to your crocodile clips, And again, very nice quality crocodile clips. You can do the finger test and they do hurt when you put them on your fingers, so that's when you know that they're nice and strong. And if you just clip them on to the ends there, they just pop on really easily, and then you can just do your testing like that. So that's the leads and the probes. Let's have a look at the tester itself. So on the front here is obviously where we put our leads. So if we want to use our test probe lead, then that goes in here, like so. So we can use that and then potentially use two other leads. We can use our CPC and our neutral, like that. So we've got that configuration there. Or if we don't want to use this one and we just want to use the normal one, then it goes exactly the same, and we just use the normal red one with the crocodile clip or the probe. But then if we want to use our plug-in tester, we have the same kind of setup. So you can plug that in there, plug that in there, plug that in there, and then we use our plug to plug it in and do our tests that way. And then obviously if we want to charge it, we slide that across and we plug our charger in, and we can charge up the batteries, and it doesn't allow you to plug in any test leads, so you can't do any tests while this is connected, because that could be a little bit dodgy, shall we say. So what we'll do is I'll get set back up with my just my normal leads. So this is the front of the tester. So it's got a lot of different functions, absolutely tons and tons of different functions. So we go through them one by one. So this setting first is just a voltage test setting, voltage and hertz. So it'll give us our voltage and our frequency. And do I have a, yeah, I've got a proving unit that I can use. Please forgive me for using a Q-Tech proving unit while testing a Megger tester, but I don't have a Megger proving unit, so if Megger want to send me a proving unit, that would be great. So there we go, and we've got greater than 600 volts, and it goes down and it steps through all the different voltages, which is perfect. So that just shows you how the voltage side of things works, and that's how this thing works, is it just steps down all the voltages and it shows you its you know, the different voltage measurements on the tester. So that's voltage and frequency. Then the low resistant ohms reading. So this is the one where you usually would do, for example, your R1 and R2 tests or your ring continuity tests, and if you clip the two leads together, then it's already zeroed out, so that's good. But if I want to, I can press this test button and that removes the nulling, so we've got 0.08. If I press it again, it will null the leads. There you go. So that is a great little test. Now obviously that's not using this lead, so the low resistance ohms setting only uses the green and red leads. If you connect any of the others together, it just doesn't do anything, or it just reads off the scale. So it's just using the first two leads, and you've got a 200 milliamp setting on there. You can also set it so that it beeps when you've got continuity, which is quite nice if you like that kind of thing. That will just turn off the beep. So yeah, I quite like the audible thing, but it might be a bit annoying if you are working in a customer's house and they're getting fed up with it beeping all the time. If you're doing a long wander lead test, it could be quite handy, the beep, because then you don't even need to look at the screen necessarily. You can just dab it onto stuff, and when you've got continuity it'll beep, and when you've not got continuity it won't beep. So it makes it a little bit quicker and easier for you to do the testing. Backlight button, obviously, so you've got a backlight that you can just switch on and off. I mean, there's loads of functions to this, but we'll just go through everything. So insulation resistance test, obviously that's fairly self-explanatory, but you press and hold the test button to do an insulation resistance test, and at the moment it's reading off the scale. We're testing at 100 volts. If I then clamp this around here, or if I short it out by mistake, then it goes down to 0 megohms, so we know that it's working. And in that case, you know, we can test at 100 volts or 250 volts or 500 volts or even 1000 volts. So an interesting feature of this as well, if you press and hold the test button, okay, I don't know why it's beeping. Okay, it's just beeping to say it's 1000 volts. It's giving me a little warning. So 999 megohms. If I press the lock button now, it will stay on like that, and then you can probably see a little bit of a spark. So there you go. But that's a nice feature if you want to then go between all your various combinations of wires and you don't have to keep pressing and holding that button. That's a really nice little feature. And then if you press the lock button again, it just goes off. So that's good. I usually do my insulation resistance testing at 250 volts, just to be careful because there might be some sensitive electronic equipment connected that you don't know about. But some people, if it's a brand new installation and you know that everything's disconnected and unplugged and nothing that could have interference, then you can easily do 500 volts as is, you know, required by the regulations for initial verification. So that's the insulation settings. Then we've got these. So these are the earth loop impedance settings, and then you've got, in fact, the live to live and live to neutral versions of those same tests. And you can have a 3-wire version of this. So that means you need to connect all 3 of these to get a test reading. But if you press this, you can actually get a 2-wire version as well, and a 3 low or 2 high. So 3 low is using low resistance. That means that or a low amount of milliamps to do the test. That will mean that it doesn't trip the RCD upstream. And the 2 is using a higher amount of milliamps. That means you can do it with 2 leads, but it might trip the RCD if there's an RCD upstream. You notice as well that one has the RCD symbol there, which is a type A RCD. That is your earth loop impedance. Then you can use this to get your PSC readings and stuff like that if you're testing between phases or testing between live and neutral. You can do that, and again you can do that with 2 leads. In fact, you only do that with 2 leads because you've got no issues with RCD tripping if you're just testing between phases or between phase and neutral. So that is that, and then I think this is the earth resistance thing. But then on this side you've got loads of other variations too. So for example, if we go to LPE, we're on Z max at the moment. If I change it to just Z, then we've got 3 LO, 2 high, or 2 LO. So in this case we can actually do a 2 lead test and it won't trip the RCD, which is quite a rare function that I think only this Megger actually has, which is really nice. So you can do a 2 lead earth loop impedance test and it won't trip the RCD, which is absolutely fantastic. So that is a great little feature. So I need to set my RCD settings to do an RCD test, and then I can go to my RCD, for example, half times. There we go, and I can do an RCD test now. And so you can test any RCDs from 10 milliamps, 30, 100, 300, 500, EV, which is really interesting for the kind of work that we do, or varied. And this is on half times at the moment. I can do 1 times, 5 times. I don't know why it's giving me an error there for 5 times. So if I do this, then I can do 0 degrees of the phase or 180 degrees. and then I can also change my RCD type. If I press and hold that, I think it is, yeah, there we go. So we've got AC RCD type A, or type AC selective, which means like a time delayed, and then we can press it again and we go through type A selective, and then we can go through again, and that's a type B RCD, actually, that symbol there. Can you see that? Yeah, so that's quite good to be able to just cycle through the different RCD types. For us, most of the time it's type A RCDs that we're testing, so we just cycle through to the type A setting, and then if we put it on auto, yeah, there we go, so we can do an auto test. I think for a type B RCD you can't do the 5 times or the auto test. And then the ramp test, what it will do is it will ramp up, and then when the RCD trips, it will tell you at how many milliamps it's tripped, which is really useful if you're doing some kind of investigation for earth leakage. Say you've got nuisance tripping, for example, you can plug your RCD tester in, do a ramp test, and if it trips sooner than it should, then you know that you might have an issue with earth leakage, and you can put an earth leakage clamp on it and you can see, is there an issue with earth leakage? Is there too much earth leakage and therefore the RCD is tripping sooner than it should? So that's a very handy little test. Now, in terms of my usage of this tester, that's kind of as far as it's gone, really. The EV testing, if you do that, it only works on the auto test, and I think what that does is test the 6 milliamp DC protection in the EV charger, which is a really important feature in order to test the safety of electric vehicle charging points. So that is a really handy setting to have in order to test that 6 milliamp DC protection, and then you can test your normal type A RCD with these settings, and you've got all the bases covered then when it comes to RCD testing, which is really, really nice. A few things I don't really know what they do because I'm not experienced with these. So the RE, I'm guessing that's an earth resistance test, so presumably you set that and then you use that to measure the resistance of an earth electrode. So in that case, you've got your pins that you pin into the ground at certain distances, and then you press that, and you might need to press this touch voltage button or something. But I don't really know. I've never actually had to do that test before. So let me know in the comments how that works and if I'm correct in what I'm saying, if that is what that does. Also, you've got data recollection here. And this isn't something that I've used either, but it's got recall, send, and delete, I guess. So presumably the Bluetooth function on this and this little save floppy disk button, which is very old school now, isn't it? We don't use floppy disks anymore. Let me know in the comments if you're too young to know what a floppy disk is. But that presumably enables you to send the data to something and save it. Now, I'm really intrigued as to what Megger are going to do, because they recently bought Vespula, which was our certification software that we used to use, and then they've rebranded it as Megger Cert Suite, and that is their own certification software now. So I'm hoping that they will create a way that we can actually test with the Megger tester and upload the readings straight into Cert Suite so that it will fill out the certificate automatically for us as we go and do our tests. But I think that's probably a work in progress, and I've worked with various manufacturers of test equipment in the past, and for example Fluke, they have the Fluke Connect thing, but in reality you just never use it because it's too clunky and it takes more time rather than saving time. So if they're going to do this, they need to get it absolutely spot on by making it actually a really quick, easy thing to do, and therefore a time-saving feature. Otherwise it's just a gimmick and nobody's ever going to actually use it. What do I like about this tester? Well, I like the fact that you've got a test button on both sides, so you know, if you've got one hand tied behind your back, you can just tap this one or the other one rather than having to reach around. That's good. I like the lock function. I like the 2-wire non-trip earth loop impedance testing. And I just like the overall feel of this and the build quality of it. Things I don't like, the strap, you know, for a good quality tester, the strap is just really flimsy and just doesn't feel that great, to be honest. The carry case also just doesn't feel great quality, and in effect you're just going to throw it away probably when you get it and buy a nice Vito testing bag or something, or the Velocity testing bag, which I would quite like if someone wants to treat me to a nice testing bag. But other than that, I love it. I mean, it's robust, it's solid. I've used so many different testers, and I did start off with Megger, and then I kind of went to Fluke because I was using Fluke when I was abroad working on volunteer projects. That was what they had. I got used to that. We brought the Mitrel tester recently, which we think is pretty rubbish, to be honest. And now I'm back to good old Megger, and I've got to say I'm really happy to be back using Megger testers again. I just feel like they are pretty much the best on the market right now in terms of quality and functionality. But let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Do you use Megger? Do you use something else? What do you love about it? What do you hate about it? I'd love to know all your comments below. And as always, if this video has been of benefit to you and you've enjoyed it, hit a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, because it's free and you'll get regular video updates from us. But either way, guys, thanks so much for watching and have a great day.